But like, how you don't know you poor? How you voting? Like, yeah, I don't want black people to have nothing. Those blacks, those Latinos, those taking all of the. How you not know you poor? Oh, I'd say I'm reasonable. Okay, that's completely unreasonable. I'm reasonable.
I'm unreasonable.
You have no idea just how reasonable I have been.
Reasonable synonyms are sensible, rational, practical, fair, appropriate. Fitting, suitable, logical. All things I would definitely say describe me. Do they describe you?
Welcome to I'm Reasonable with Zainab Johnson.
I'm reasonable. Hey, welcome to another episode of I'm Reasonable with Zainab Johnson. I am Zainab Johnson. Hey, everybody. I hope that you guys have been reasonable. I hope that you are being reasonable. And here's the thing. I was actually thinking about it the other day. I was like, dang, with so many unfortunate things happening in the world, with so many unreasonable things happening in the world, so many circumstances that are not ideal. Is it unreasonable for me to be constantly asking you guys to be reasonable? So, I don't think so. I hope not. But I'm just acknowledging that I'm aware. I'm aware shit is fucked. I'm aware. I apologize. Let me just say now, that was not safe for work. That was not safe for the kids. That might have not been safe for your religious granny. So I apologize in advance. What's up, y'all? What's up? First of all, congratulations, New York City. I am so proud of you. If you're watching this and you like, I did not want Mamdani to win. That's very interesting. I would not have thought that I would have attracted a person in New York that was thinking that. So, you know what I'm saying? Okay. But I personally am very happy with the results. Although I am no longer a person voting in New York City, I was very happy for the results. Okay, Mamdani. Now, they was talking about you ain't got no experience. They was talking about they don't know how you are going to achieve all that you ran on. So, young man, because I think he like the youngest mayor. He the youngest mayor since I've been alive. He the youngest New York City mayor since I've been alive. Get to work. Okay. It's kind of late, but we're going to get through this. I'm going to be all around the world. First of all, let's go back to Jamaica. Here's the thing. Jamaica was hit really hard. Not just Jamaica, Haiti, Cuba, a bunch of surrounding islands, part of Florida. A Category 5 hurricane is severe. I saw pictures of one of the airports in Jamaica. I saw a video from, severe. So I'm going to say three things. One, if you are a tourist in Jamaica, you're vacationing in Jamaica, and there is a natural disaster. I'm talking about tops blown off a bit, flooding, ain't no food, ain't no electricity. People can't fly in, people can't fly out. People don't have access to emergency services. If you got the nerve to be at a resort, if you got the nerve to be at a hotel, if you got the nerve to be at an Airbnb and you yelling and you talking to the staff like, oh, y'all didn't prepare for this. Oh, all you gonna give me is this. Oh, how dare you? It's a natural disaster. This is a time where everybody just gotta buckle down. Obviously accept that the situation is not ideal and you just got to deal with it. And it's about being solution oriented, not pointing out problems and your dissatisfaction. What? I cannot wait on you right now. See, every so often on this podcast, I got to bring up Hotel Mumbai, which is one of my favorite movies. Matter of fact, I'm going to step away from my Eddie Murphy nostalgia because I just watched Dreamgirls. We're going to talk about it. I mean, I saw Dreamgirls before, but I just watched it again because I'm in my Eddie Murphy nostalgia. I'm going to step away, though. I might do that right after I watch this podcast and go watch Hotel Mumbai. Now, y'all know I like Hotel Mumbai. If I ain't talk about it on I'm Reasonable, then all the original people from Honest Tea with Z, y'all know I be talking about Hotel Mumbai. And how those employees at that hotel, even during a terrorist attack, even while their lives were in danger and they were held hostage, they still was trying to wait on the guests. They was still trying to bring tea. And guess what? And still certain guests discriminated against them. When we're in dire situations, you got to really drop all of your privilege. You have to drop all of your privilege. It's a natural disaster. So if you expecting the buffet to be open like it's regularly open, it's not going to be open. If you expecting for them to serve you, for somebody to be at the bar making drinks, that might not happen. And for you to be on video talking about y'all should have known, well, you should have known. The same way that they get news coverage and stuff like that, you get news coverage. So you should have took your behind back home, or you should have not gone. Or if it was too late for you to get up out of there, then you just got to understand, oh, I'm here. What can we do together to get through this? How can I help you help me get through this so that I can then get back home? Because even though this week is uncomfortable for me, even though this week is not ideal, even though I didn't expect to be stranded in Jamaica, even though I didn't expect for my vacation to be ruined by a hurricane, guess what? I get to eventually get back on a plane and go home to my house or my apartment or my condo or whatever that's still standing. I get to go back to my coffee shop. I get to go back to drink my bottled water. With all the workers that you talking to crazy, they got to deal with the aftermath of that too. Number 2, if you are a hotel or a resort and you have people staying at your hotel and or resort and they paid their good money to stay at your hotel and resort, and then a hurricane, a category 5 hurricane hits the island and they cannot leave. They want to, but they cannot leave. They actually cannot leave. If you're charging them money to stay at your hotel when they already paid to stay at your hotel, and the only reason that they have not left your hotel after their reservation had expired is because ain't no planes could take off or land, ain't no boats docking or leaving, and you got the nerve to not only charge them and charge them full rate. Now, here's the thing. I'm not unreasonable. I'm not saying that you got to provide maid service or housekeeping service. I'm not saying that the buffet got to be open. I'm not saying you got to provide room service. I'm saying that you can give them the bare minimum, which is not charging them, especially, the highest rate for a room? How dare you? Any hotels that did that, you will never get a dime out of me. You will never, ever get a dime out of me. 3. And I'm sorry, Jamaica. I'm sorry. I don't care how you feel about this. I've been seeing so many people online, tourists, workers, citizens of Jamaica, the people of Jamaica, all of that. 3. I don't care. I'm going to say it. If you bleach your skin, I don't want to hear nothing you got to say. If you a whole melanated person from the African diaspora, and your people happen to settle or be brought to, by choice or force, to the island of Jamaica, and you get on camera trying to vent or rant, and you done bleached your skin 19 colored, you done took all the melanin out your skin, now you just look strange, I ain't trying to hear nothing you got to say. Anything you think or say is null and void to me. I'm so sorry. Because why are you walking around looking like Clorox just hit my black t-shirt? With all that said, I hope that everyone in Jamaica is, I know it's probably a long road, very, very, very long road in repairing the damages caused by a hurricane. And that's the thing that sucks. You can't even blame a hurricane on nobody. That's the thing about natural disasters. Sometimes when I be at the airport and a flight is delayed, I be like, oh my God, please don't let it be for weather. If it's for weather, I can't blame it on nobody. You just got to sit there. And not only can you not blame it on anybody, but the airlines and the airport, they know they ain't got to do nothing. If they do anything, that's just because they are reasonable. You know what I'm saying? They taking reasonable routes. Somebody in a high position has allowed them to be reasonable. I was on a flight a little while, like this year, but like a few months ago. I think it was when I was flying back from either London or Scotland. But we probably like 40 minutes from landing. And then they were like, oh, it's a lightning storm. It's a lightning storm in LA and we can't land. They're not letting any planes land. And so they rerouted us and we had to land in Phoenix, Arizona. And then as soon as we got to Phoenix, no, I'm lying. Sorry, I'm not lying, but let me, that's not the truth. They said it was a lightning storm and we couldn't land. So we couldn't land, and so now we're flying around, right? They didn't divert us at first. We just flying around waiting for this lightning storm to subside, I guess, right? And we flying around. And this happens all the time. When for some reason there's sort of congestion at the airport, there's any reason that you can't land, they'll have you just circle. You'll be in kind of like a holding pattern in the air, right? But then a lot of flights, what happens is if that holding pattern takes too long, you're going to run out of gas. Now, I always thought that you fill up a airplane like you fill up a car, right? Well, we got a whole tank. The whole tank we got more than enough gas to get where we going, right? That ain't how airplanes work. I found out. Okay. So now we in a holding pattern for a good amount of time, maybe like 30, 40 minutes. And the pilot was like, listen, I think any moment they're going to let us land in LA. And then after a while, he was like, okay, I think they're opening up LA. But here's the thing. We don't have enough fuel to get to LA. So we're going to have to stop down in Arizona and get some fuel. As soon as we land in Arizona, there is a dust storm or something like that. I'm saying all of this because it was all weather related. So that means, they don't legally, like they don't technically got to do nothing for us except put us on the next flight when the next flight is going out. But this particular airport, like the Delta Lounge, I was on a Delta flight, the Delta Lounge closed. It was probably, Phoenix Airport, Delta Lounge ain't staying open till midnight. Delta Lounge was supposed to close at like 8 or 9 p.m., something like that. They stayed open until our flight went back out. A whole nother crew from another airline came and flew our flight and took us to LA. But they didn't have to do that. And in that moment, I just had to accept. I wasn't pestering the people. Like, what, any updates? Can we do this? I didn't even go into the Delta Lounge thinking that I was going to get premium food or snack. I mean, I don't never do that. But I definitely wasn't doing that because they already stayed open past the amount of time that they were supposed to be open. And they let everybody in who was on that flight, even if they normally don't have access to the Delta Lounge. That's what you do. You work together. You work together when something happens that is out of everybody's control. You work together. And sometimes working together is removing your privilege and accepting the bare minimum, because we all getting the bare minimum. We all just trying to get home. We all just trying to survive. We're all just trying to be okay. I'm still praying for Jamaica. Everybody in Jamaica, people who got people in Jamaica, people who were stranded in Jamaica and didn't have the funds to get home, and just, I'm gonna be all over the place, forgive me. But did I congratulate Mamdani? Yeah? Okay, good. So I've been in this Eddie Murphy nostalgia, right? So I watched Dreamgirls. I actually watched it on a plane coming back from Cleveland. Cleveland, thank you so much. Shout out to everybody that came to my Cleveland shows, people who drove in, people who thank you. Thank you. So Cleveland, you sold out both of my Saturday shows, the early show Saturday and the late show Saturday. Thank you. Thank you so much. I will admit my favorite show was Friday late night. I had a ball with the Friday late night crowd. I enjoyed every show. I enjoyed every single show. All 4 of them were pretty different, really kind of different audiences. Friday late night, that we had some fun. But Saturday, thank you so much. Thank you so much. On November 1st, too, right after Halloween, SNAP benefits ain't coming in. Thank you. Federal workers got to go to work and ain't being paid. Thank you, Cleveland. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And if you were at the show and was wondering last time I was here, she came out and took pictures and said hi, or I be watching the podcast and I know she be coming out and doing meet and greets and, blah, blah, blah. So if in this season I'm not doing, and by this season I mean the winter season, if for some reason I don't come out, it's not because I don't mess with y'all. It's just I'm trying to stay healthy, y'all. I've been battling a lot of cold and flu symptoms. And a lot of times it happens right after I finish performing in the city. And and I'll get home Sunday, or I get home Monday, and let me tell y'all, it hits me. And so part of it is being on the planes, part of it is me jumping from different temperatures, when I flew out on Friday to get to Cleveland, it was 87 degrees in Los Angeles, and I got to Cleveland, it was 40 something degrees, 40 degrees or something like that. So I'm sure it's a combination of all that, but it wasn't personal. It wasn't personal at all. It was just me. It's just me really trying to get through the rest of the year without any virus. Anything that's out there. So I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Thank you so much. I do not at all take you guys for granted. Forgive me if for some reason I don't do a meet and greet. It's only because I'm afraid, I'm feeling something, and I just gotta trust my instinct. And after the first show I wasn't sure if it was my opener, that happened with him too. He almost didn't have a voice on Saturday, and so on Friday, after the first show, I was feeling a little bit what's happening in my ear, nose, throat area, and so I had to just play it safe. But thank you, Cleveland. So on my way back from Cleveland, right? On my way back from Cleveland, I was watching Dreamgirls. I just had the urge to watch Dreamgirls. It wasn't presented to, I actually had to search. I was like, where can I stream Dreamgirls? And then Tubi was the platform that was streaming it for free. So I got on Tubi and I was watching it. Yo, I was dying laughing. It's not a comedy, I know. But I was dying laughing because how I feel about films really change. It really does change when I watch them at a different age and in a different space in my life. Yo, I was watching Dreamgirls. First of all, Effie is terrible. Effie was she had a terrible attitude. I think before, when I watched Dreamgirls, I was caught up in the colorism and the, and the fat shaming of it all, and sort of the traditional, what traditionally sells, versus the talented, the really extremely, supremely talented person that may not look the part. I was kind of caught up in that, the discrimination story, and you know what I'm saying? That sort of thing. But then when I sat back, I said, she's terrible. She got a bad attitude. I don't even care that she ain't skinny no more. I don't care that she ain't light skinned. I don't care that she don't look like Dina. I don't care that that her voice is very strong. I don't care. Her work ethic is poor. Even when her and Magic disappeared for 5 years, or 6 years or 9 years, however much time it was, when her Magic disappeared and she was at the welfare office. Speaking of SNAP, speaking of welfare, we're going to talk about the SNAP benefits. She was at the welfare office and he was like, have you been looking for a job? And she was like, I'm going to tell you, like I told you before, I'm not looking for no job. All I could do is sing. I said, Effie, because they just start singing out of nowhere. Effie, you's a problem. Effie, Effie, you are a problem. I said, I had to look at the because I watched part of it on the flight and then I fell asleep because I was tired. My flight was at like 5 o'clock in the morning. And so then I put it. This is how much Eddie Murphy nostalgia I'm living in. I turned it on as soon as I got in my house. As soon as I got from the airport, I was about to turn it on in the Uber, and then I was like, nah, I want to watch it on a big screen. So I waited till I got home and turned it on anyway. I had to walk away from the TV. I said, oh no, Effie, I can't even. What is wrong with you? Where did you come from? The other thing, when she was singing, and I am telling you, I'm not, right? And you, you're gonna love me. That song ain't make no goddamn sense. For the first time, when people sing that song, I'm normally listening to the vocal ability that it takes to sing the song, the pain, the passion. But this time I was listening to the words. I said, she was saying, you the best man I'll ever know. And I'm like, wait, Jamie Foxx's character is the best man you'll ever know. He's terrible. He got with you, was having unprotected sex with you. I think you young. I think y'all much younger than he is, because they don't really talk about age that much, but it's like clearly they was young girls and these was grown men. Eddie Murphy character, Jamie Foxx character, everybody was grown, but these singers was very young. And then, without telling you, he started messing with your friend who is also in the group while he's sneakily making her the lead singer. So he's sleeping with both of y'all. And also trying to move you to the background. And that's the best man you ever know. That's, when you realize, like, wait a second, this is not love. You the best man I ever know. Once she said that, I couldn't even really rock with the song no more. And you gonna love. I said, girl, you do not need him to love you. You're gonna love me. You don't want that man loving you. Look what his love did. His love is unreliable. His love ain't worth shit, girl. Get up out of there. Okay? Okay, and then the last thing, this is the last thing I'll say about, I don't know if it's the last thing. I think we was too harsh with Beyonce in Dreamgirls. I watched it this time and I was like, I think Beyonce did great. I think she did great. I think it's because Beyonce is such an amazing entertainer that maybe sometimes we might look at the acting like it does not meet the expectation of like the rock star that she is, the pop star, the fucking music star that she is. But I think if we didn't compare it, it's like, yeah, in every moment I believed her. And that's what's important. Because I really believe, I was watching it this time like, what? Why was we so hard on Beyonce? And I forgot, one of my favorite songs when Dreamgirls came out, it's still my favorite song. I listened to it about probably like 10 times since I watched that movie. It's Listen. Listen to the words deep in my heart. I might not say the words right. I might not be saying the right words. My dreams to be, I will not be. I am alone at a crossroad. I'm not at home in my own home. And I tried to say what's on my mind. You should have known. Oh, now I'm done believing you. You don't know what I'm feeling. I'm more than what you made of me. I followed the voice you think you gave to me. And y'all get. Y'all get the point. Beyonce sang that. I used to love watching her perform. That's why I used to be so confused a couple of years ago. Every time she had to perform like a ballad song, she would choose Halo. I'm like, girl, sing, listen to the words here in my heart. Girl, sing, listen. What you singing? Hey, I want to see your halo. I don't know. Maybe vocally. Maybe people who know vocal stuff are like, no, that song really shows her vocal range. I don't know, but I'm like, girl, listen. What you doing? Anyway, at some point when she married to Jamie Foxx character, I don't know his name. She married to he sold Cadillacs, whatever. She married to Jamie Foxx character, and he said something. She was like, I'm grown. When she was singing, listen, she was like, I'm grown. Like I'm a woman. Like, I want to do what I want to do. And he was like, you always be no, she said, I'm not 16 anymore, which lets me know that's when he met her. So you was messing with teenagers and it's the best man you ever know? No. Anyway, and he gonna say, well, you'll always be 16. And Jamie Foxx, he's supposed to play like the Barry Gordy character. Obviously, the Dreamgirls is based on like the Supremes, right? Right? And then anyway. And then the Eddie Murphy character was like James Brown. Who was I supposed to be with back in the day if I was born in a different time? Marvin Gaye, right? But he talk about you always be 16 to me. Ain't you 40 or 50? And I said, oh no, get me out of here. Let me tell y'all, I was laughing, crying, cursing at the movie. It was a good time. Anyway, this is a good time to tell you guys where I will be performing next. So I will be in Houston next. I will be in Houston, Texas. I will be in Houston, Texas, November 13th through the 15th at the Punchline in Houston. Go ahead and get those tickets if you guys can. And listen, this goes for all my shows for the rest of the year. If you fell on hard times for whatever reason, I don't care if they SNAP benefits, I don't care if if you are a federal worker, if you are a friend or a family member of a federal worker or anybody on hard times, or you just find yourself for whatever reason, you know what I'm saying? This, this, and this, you ain't got it and you want to laugh, you want to come see me, please slide in my DM. Don't send me an email, slide in my DMs, okay? Slide in my DMs. That is, I'll see it fastest that way. Okay. I'll be in Houston, November 13th through the 15th at the Punchline. Then after that, I will be in Detroit, Michigan, November 21st and 22nd. Then I'll be in Addison, Texas, December 5th through the 7th, Addison, Texas at the Addison Improv. That's the Dallas area. I look forward to seeing you guys again. And then I will be in Dayton, Kentucky, which is the Cincinnati area. I will be there December 12th and 13th. December 12th and 13th, Cincinnati area, specifically Dayton, Kentucky. And then I'm going to be in Miami. I thought I was going to be in Miami for 3 days. I'm going to be in Miami for an entire week, I think. So I will be headlining the Miami Improv, my first time ever performing at the Miami Improv, let alone headlining the Miami Improv. I will be in Miami at the Improv December 26th. That's the day after Christmas. December 26th, Friday, December 26th. As of now, I will not be there on Saturday. I will have Saturday, December 27th off, but then my shows will resume Sunday through Tuesday. So I will be at the Miami Improv Friday, December 26th for 2 shows, and then Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. That's December 28th through the 30th. So if you're in Miami, please get those tickets. Or if you know people in Miami, tell them to come see me perform. As always, you can go to my website, ZainabJohnson.com for tickets, or you can just scroll down, and the link is in the details of this podcast. While I have you guys, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the share button. It really helps. It goes a long way. I appreciate you, and it's free. So go ahead and hit it. Thank you. All right, so SNAP benefits. SNAP benefits stopped on November 1st due to the government being shut down, and a bunch of state officials, a bunch of people from organizations, filed lawsuits against the president, the federal government, to use reserve funds for SNAP benefits, right? And I think I'll say a few things about this. I think people right now, I'm not sure how soon it's happening, but I think people who do get SNAP, and if you don't know what SNAP benefits, that is basically like food help, governmental food help. So they give you money for food. The government gives you money for food, like food stamps, like now it's on an actual card because everything has moved to digital payment, right? But it's basically the government food assistant program, right? And for the United States. So they call them SNAP benefits. And it's on a card, like a EBT card, right? Which I think is electronic benefits. I'm not sure. Anyway, the worst thing, the worst narrative about food stamps and government assistance from way, way back in the day was, I think when Reagan was the president, which of course was before my time, but when Reagan was the president, it's like the welfare queen. That was Reagan, right? The whole welfare queen. That was probably the worst marketing ever. Worse than, it's almost the same as like Obamacare. It's not the same. Let me explain. So the narrative way back when was like, oh, the only person on welfare is the black lady, the black single mother with a whole bunch of kids who don't want to work, right? And it's so not, it's like everybody's been sold a lie. Everybody's been sold a lie. First of all, just demographics. The demographic that receives the most SNAP benefits are white Americans. White Americans are the highest number of people to receive SNAP benefits. But also, when you think about it, SNAP benefits are for the elderly. They're for people who are caretakers. They're for veterans. They're for families that are working, but they're not making enough money. And so they need assistance. They need supplemental help because their incomes, maybe they're normally a 2-parent household, but now they have children and the mother can't work because it's like it costs more for childcare than you going out to working. So you stay home to work and you need help with but here's the thing. People for decades really made themselves believe, oh yeah, well, I ain't trying to get a black lady that's a single mother who just like having a bunch of kids with random men. I'm not gonna give her no money. And you vote against your own interests. I've been watching every news outlet, every NPR, every podcast, every New York Times article, everybody they interviewing. These people are sitting up there wondering what they did. Oh man, I voted for Trump, and now we got to decide if we're gonna I can't. We just been eating macaroni and cheese that we got from the food bank. Hold on a second. So you didn't know you was poor, and I'm not making people who are financially disenfranchised at all. I think at one point my mom I grew up definitely on food stamps. I for sure had food stamps growing up. But I'm talking about like in the recent past. Because my mom sometimes, I have my oldest sister is disabled. My oldest sister is special needs. And my mom at one point had custody of one of my nephews. And so my mom is a senior citizen. She definitely had SNAP benefits because she had 2 people in her house that she had to feed. And my mom is not, I think my mom has like a part-time job. My mom be working for the school. But not enough to be feeding 2 other people like a growing boy. And my sister is in her 40s. But she is disabled. And I remember I was there so I can't remember why I was there. But, I'm just visiting my mom, and she sent me to the grocery store, and she was like, here, use this. And she gave me an EBC card. And I was like, what is this? She was like, I wasn't saying, what is this? Like, I don't know what it is. I know, but I was saying, like, why are you giving it to me? And she was like, use this for the food. And I was like, no, you use that when I'm not here. When I'm here, I'll take care of everything. You need to use that when I'm not here, then use it when I'm not here. But while I'm here, I'll pay the money. But like, how you don't know you poor? How you voting? Like, yeah, I don't want black people to have nothing. Those blacks, those Latinos, those taking all of the. How you not know you poor? Here's another thing. Because it ain't funny. It ain't funny. Donate if you can to food banks. Be very mindful. It's people out here. I don't believe people are starving yet, but I do believe that there is a legitimate fear. I do believe that people are having to make choices that they should not have to make. Choices like, okay, do I put dinner on the table or do I pay the light bill? That's a choice that you shouldn't have to make. That's a choice that you shouldn't have to make. I know a lot of people are in situations like that. I was in situations like that as a kid. We were definitely in situations like that as a kid, where I would open the refrigerator and it's like, I guess we eating a honey sandwich again tonight. I guess we're eating a honey sandwich. I guess I'm talking about open up the refrigerator and we just got a thing of mushrooms. I guess we about to cut up these mushrooms and put them in a skillet, put them in a pan, and we about to have some mushrooms until Abu gets home, and hopefully he come home with some food, cause I grew up in that situation. But I just be so I'm all over the place. If you can, people are in dire straits right now. People are in need. And it really is. I heard a pastor say this recently, like, it is very hard, like when you got to turn and help immediately. You got to help the person that smacked you in the face immediately. Like right after the smack in the face, you got to turn and help them. Like that is really like being like God. You get what I'm saying? Being like our prophets, So in this time, I have to even remind myself, like I have to really remind myself to be reasonable, to tap into my empathetic self, my compassionate self. Because I be hearing these interviews and these people be like, and I can't believe, I thought Trump was gonna. Another thing, I don't know if I done made any points. I don't know if I'm making sense right now, but something that just blows my mind is when people be pleading for the holidays. I don't know if I don't understand this because I did not grow up believing in or celebrating Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween, et cetera, just all the Christian-based holidays. But it's crazy how the world is. Like, I just remember during Ramadan and like, just seeing people that are in Palestine in like the worst possible situation, and they're still like actively like practicing Ramadan. Which is denying yourself, being disciplined and denying yourself, abstaining from water and food during a time where you got the most sunlight, you know what I'm saying? Depending on what time of the year it is, where you got the most hours of sunlight. And then fast forward, and this is not a comparison of religion, because I really do think they brothers. They Judaism, Islam, Christianity, they brothers. So this is not even a comparison. It's just so interesting to me. Like when people be like, oh, even there was a governor of some state that was like, can you please not send ice on Halloween? It's Halloween. It's like, what? Do not send ice. Please don't terrorize our communities. I don't give a damn that the kids want to go out and trick or treat. That is commercialism. That is consumerism. I'm going to sound like my mama, paganism. Do not send ICE to terrorize our communities, period. Everybody like, and then they gonna cut the SNAP benefits so close to the holidays. Y'all gotta tell me, please tell me in the comments, is it because I was not raised like that? What do the holidays ain't real? Now, I'm not saying that Jesus wasn't born on a day and that he ain't gonna be resurrected on a whatever these specific days signify. You know what I'm saying? We already know that Thanksgiving wasn't a thing. We already know Thanksgiving was like, how y'all do these people so wrong? They sat down at a table and only tried to feed y'all and nourish y'all, and you still gave them a whole goddamn plague. So we already know Thanksgiving ain't right? But when they say the holidays, I know they talking about Christmas, and right around the holidays, I know they talk about Christmas, right? What? Christmas is the biggest commercialized day all over the world, with the exception of probably Islamic countries. Not countries that have a big population of Muslims, but countries that are governed, you know what I'm saying, by Islam. Like that, Christmas, Black Friday and Christmas. Listen. We gotta change. If no time, we gotta change this. And they gonna cut SNAP benefits around the who gives a shit about the holiday? We either can afford to eat or we can't. And this is a problem that needs to be solved. I don't care if it's February 1st, December 25th, January 13th, June 22nd. I don't care. We should be able to eat. People in this country, we have multiple billionaires. In this country, multiple billionaires around the world. Every single person should be able to eat. I don't give a shit about the around the, I be thinking I'm in bizarro world. When people, and okay, Sudan. Sudan. It's interesting. I was walking the other day and I had just probably watched, I don't know, probably a half hour of like all of these videos talking about what's happening in Sudan, different people bringing awareness to it, making emotional pleas, just showing actual footage and just trying to get the word out. And also trying to figure out, okay, like thinking about the people, the Sudanese people that I know, as much as they may not live in Sudan, they have their families do, you know. I was trying to think about the people in my life that I know that are directly related to that suffering. And I had the thought, wow, this is so, I don't know why this came to me. I'm gonna just share with y'all. I don't know why this came to me, but I was like, I have not gotten an angry email or DM yet. While I was disheartened and I mean, I had to fight. I was devastated. I was devastated to see. I mean, and look, talk about a ceasefire. Where? When? I was devastated to see images of babies that had been bombed and starving babies and you know, the destruction of people's homes and things. All the footage and the stories that came from the destruction of Gaza and the Palestinian people, was and is very hard to watch. And very hard to watch. But y'all, right? I did an episode about it. I got some of the meanest messages during that time. I know that my special came out during that time. And I maybe am like, I maybe appear to be a Muslim woman with a platform that, however people perceive me, I got some of the meanest. I'm talking about, I would see every day people sending me tagging me in messages that would call for me to be boycott, like for me to not have a career essentially, because I was not speaking up enough about Palestine to them, right? And that's okay. Like I kind of understood, while some days it was harder for me than others. I understood, and I talked about it on this show, the misplaced grief, right? And I was thinking like, wow, over the past couple of days, I've been watching all of this stuff about Sudan. Ain't nobody hitting me up about Sudan. Ain't nobody yelling at me. Ain't nobody, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody. And right when I thought that, this girl, I had posted something, I had reposted a story. Somebody had posted something about my comedy, and I had reposted it on Instagram. And this girl responded to it and was like, please talk about Sudan. And I had responded right back to, I was like, oh my God, what's crazy is I just had this thought. Why ain't nobody hitting me up about Sudan? And I'm not trying to invite like negative energy. I ain't trying to invite people yelling at me, people trying to bully me. I'm not trying to invite that. I was just like, I really don't like that the same people that was hitting me up talking about equality, you should care, ain't saying shit to me about Sudan. Now, again, I don't like to compare. It's not helpful to compare, but I did notice it. And I sent a message to the girl. I said, thank you. I said, thank you so much. I was like, because I was just sitting here over here retweeting every video that I done seen about Sudan on TikTok. And then I hit me, wow, ain't nobody yelling at me the way they was yelling at me to talk about Palestine. So thank you. And then her and I started talking, and she was like, yeah, she just started sending me videos. And so let's talk about Sudan. First, let me say that I am educating myself about what's happening in Sudan. And so there are so many people, there are so many more qualified people online on every single platform talking about Sudan. It doesn't seem to be getting the news coverage because there's no big like Sudanese group here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like while there may not be a huge Palestinian, while the numbers might not be here, their opposition is Israel, right? Which is a very big, and there are a lot of Jewish people who identify with Israel. And like, obviously we know like all the nuances, right? Like, there's Jewish people who who support Palestine. There's Jewish people who are not, who, feel like Israel is their homeland, but they don't support what's happening. There are Jewish people who align themselves with Zionists. There's right. And it is very hard online to find the nuance in those conversations because people like to conflict. People like to just generalize everything, slap a blame. I was actually talking to my friend the other day and I said something. She said, so you, and she generalized everything. And I said, wait, are you talking to me like in comedy words? or are we having a genuine conversation? And she was like, what do you mean? And I was like, because you generalize, like you just generalize everything. And by doing that, that's not what I was saying at all. I was like, but like when I'm having a genuine conversation with you, I'm thinking that we are really leaning into like the new, I feel like we're taking space, making space for like nuance. But if we're not, if I'm having a conversation with you, like it's the internet, then let me know. Cause then I won't have conversations about, you know what I'm saying? Like harder topics with you. And she was like, damn girl, okay. All right, she ain't say these words, but she in her own way was like, I need to recalibrate. Cause I was like, yeah, like, if we being funny, then yeah, we could be funny. Just let me know. But when I'm talking to like my friends and I'm talking about something serious or something complicated or something nuanced, I'm thinking that that's what we're doing. I'm not, as much as we are comedians, I'm not thinking that we trying to make a joke of everything. Right? Anywho, my point is there are really qualified people that are talking about what's happening in Sudan. And as much as it's not getting news coverage in the same way, in my opinion, that the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, I'm being very careful with my words. And somebody might be like, I understand that. I understand. But as much as it's not getting the same type of coverage, in my opinion, there are many people bringing awareness to it, talking about it, and pleading with powers around the world, people around the world to help, to do something, to provide aid, to provide assistance, to just talk about it, make people aware of what is happening. Sudan is so I am contributing to that, but I'm also just putting it out there that there's people who know more. I'm still trying my best to understand what is happening. Sudan is the third largest country in Africa. I did not know that. Not to be confused with South Sudan, which is pretty large too, but I think it's like, I don't know, 12, 13, 14, something like that. If you don't know, and I didn't know, I had to look this up, but the largest country in Africa is Algeria, and the second is the Democratic Republic of Congo. So Sudan, which I did not know, is the third largest country in Africa. Now, just that alone, then you gotta know how rich in resource Sudan is. How rich. If it's first of all, the entire continent of Africa is, Sudan is the third largest. So you can just imagine. You could just imagine how rich in resources, natural resources that the world wants, oil, metals, resources that the world wants, resources that powerful entities in the world want to take control of, right? So there's a civil war in Sudan right now. Basically between two rival military groups, right? Two rival forces. The first one is the General Sudanese Armed Forces and the Rapid Support Forces, right? Now, here's the thing. Just FYI, South Sudan got its independence, I believe, in 2011. And so it used to be I guess it used to be the same as Sudan. I guess it was just one Sudan, but then South Sudan got its independence in 2011. So the General Sudanese Armed Forces and the Rapid Support Forces, they worked together to basically form a coup against the dictator, who was a dictator in Sudan for like a long time, I think like over 20 years. So in 2019, these two forces, they worked together to overthrow him, right? Get him out of the office. And then they were supposed to like get the power back to the people. That did not happen. Basically, now these two armed forces, they fighting to try to gain control. They're fighting each other to try to gain control. And apparently, this conflict is heavily backed by the UAE, the United Arab Emirates, and Egypt. So if you hear people talking about Sudan, they're not only asking for like help and asking for people to spread awareness and trying to make people aware, like, wait. This girl sent me a video. This girl sent me a video of people, Sudanese people, and not just Sudanese people, because Sudan is like really diverse. Because it's the third largest country in Africa, it's diverse by way of religion. It's diverse by way of ethnic group. It's a really diverse country. But of course, guess who's suffering? Guess who's getting the worst? Guess who's being ethnically cleansed? The dark Sudanese people. The melanated Sudanese people. She sent me a video. She sent me a video of people being forced to bury themselves. So you're going to hear a lot of people when you watch videos, they're not only bringing awareness to what's happening in Sudan, but they're also trying to make people aware of who's responsible for it. And a lot of the videos that I've seen, people are drawing a direct connection to the UAE, which is why they're calling on like boycott Dubai, boycott all the United Arab Emirates, Abu Dhabi, all of them. I think it's like 7 of them. Boycott them all. Dubai be so hard for me. People be... I don't know all around the world, but I know Americans specifically have like this weird obsession with Dubai. I'm not sure. Dubai is a very young country. The UAE is a very young country. Dubai is like, and Emiratis. I don't want to be general, but I will say the times that I have been to Dubai over any other place I don't even want to call it the Middle East, because I saw this video. I'm going to try and look for this video this woman is talking about. She's like, don't call it the Middle East. That in and of itself is insulting, to call that region the Middle East. And she makes a good, when she makes the point, I can't repeat it. I don't want to butcher her. I'm going to try and insert the video. I'm going to try. When she said, it made so much sense to me. She was like, that in and of itself is like colonialism or like racism or something like that. Like it's discriminatory because it's like the Middle East. And that's what she was saying. Compared to what? It's the middle of what? Like from your vantage, but who says it's the middle? We not the middle. Like the middle, it's like, yeah, I could call it United States. The United States is in the middle of somewhere too. But we don't call it the middle of the middle, you know what I'm saying? We don't call it the middle. We don't call it, the in-between space between the Atlantic and the Pacific, right? She was like, so why would you call it the Middle East? Like, it's the middle of what? From whose perspective? So many places in Africa, actually. I saw a video, because once I watch a bunch of Sudanese videos, you know what I'm saying? Of course, I'm gonna start seeing things about other countries in Africa. And I I'm gonna say this, and then we gotta ask Z, and then I'm gonna get up out of here. There are a lot of organizations that are documenting what's happening in Sudan, pleading with world organizations. Is the UN still a thing? There are a lot of humanitarian services that are trying to bring aid to the people that are suffering in Sudan. And I know all around the world, we are all experiencing a strain, right? There's a lot of change happening, and it seems like right now we in a dark tunnel of it all, and we don't know how long this tunnel is. If you can, if if your life affords you the ability to donate, to send aid, to even just repost, you see a story, even just to repost. I saw a woman, Sudanese woman, but she was in maybe Chicago or DC. She was definitely in an American city. She was crying. I'm gonna try and repost it. I'm gonna put it on this video too. And she was like, they did a rally. They were doing a rally to support Sudan, to stop the violence, stop the genocide, stop the ethnic cleansing, stop the war that's happening in Sudan. And she panned around, first you see her and she's really emotional, and then she pans to behind her, and it's like, it's really no crowd. It's really no support. It's really no, It's just seemingly like no one cares. So I don't know if this is helping, but if it is, please make yourself aware of what's happening in Sudan. And it does help. It does help to spread the word. It does help to repost the video that you watch in full and educate yourself. And like I said, if you have the ability to donate to some of the humanitarian organizations that are providing like food, shelter, helping people. I mean, it's like 11 million people in like the past, I don't know, like a couple of have been displaced from their homes in Sudan. 11 million people.
It could have easily been any one of us. It could have been any one of us. It could have been me. It could have been my mom. The only difference is that she was born under different circumstances. It's so painful for Black folks to see that this is the constant narrative over and over again, that no matter how much we scream, no matter how much we shout, no matter how much we beg for donations, there are only a select few that show up for us.
Just wanted to share a moment from the emergency protest for Sudan, which comes after a very violent few days in Al-Fashir, where we've seen more than 1,500 civilians killed so far by the Rapid Support Forces, who are allegedly backed by the UAE. A Sudanese American mom spoke to me about her frustrations with the lack of coverage and the lack of support and the lack of turnout that she sees for protests for Sudan here in the States.
I think it's so painful to witness that, and then to arrive here today and see that there are not so many people physically here. There's no competition when it comes to genocide, and what's happening around the world is difficult for everyone to see, but to see bridges shut down for Gaza, to see communities, to see Times Square shut down, and then to come here, turn the camera around, I want you to see how empty it is here today, because that's the feeling. It's empty. It feels so empty inside to witness women in Sudan and Al-Fashir go through the things that they're dealing with, and then for people to not have the capacity to be here.
All right, I feel like I'm all over the place. I feel like I ain't about to be talking straight, so I got to end this podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been I'm Reasonable with Zainab Johnson. I voted. Do we have the results yet for Prop 50? California? Did Californians vote yes or no on Prop 50? California voted yes on Prop 50. Well, with that said, you guys, have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. Until we talk again, please, please, please be reasonable. Bye.